So the wound clinic that I went to would see me every 4 to 6 weeks, which I found was what was required, so I could actually care for the wound in between myself properly too, and work out whether it was growing, shrinking. When I first went in, they cleaned the wound, took off all the dead tissues that were around it, and then sent me on my way with, once again, solutions that weren't going to affect the wound itself or any skin. So it wasn't an antibacterial or anything like that. It was just something that would more or less seal the wound, stop the dressings from sticking to it. And that, I think, is a key issue too, is not to do too much. Try and help the wound, but don't put anything on that can kill the tissues. Antiseptics, things like that, are not something you want to put on a wound, in my opinion.
Jan was, in fact, so to speak, a guardian angel brought in at the right time. She came in and pulled things together and sort of gave the instructions. But the people at my regular clinic also held on well. In the early days when the right ankle was very painful, we're going in twice a week to have a dressing replaced. The regular day-to-day care from my son was very good because he sort of took great care with the instructions we got and followed through.
I've worked in a lot of different circumstances, particularly in emergency services, where you make decisions on the fly. So I didn't have to rationalise it, emotionalise it. I didn't have to sit and reflect on what's it mean not to have a big toe. I just said, take it off and let's go to the next part of the journey. Well, the next step after that was obviously rehabilitation. So I, of course, wanted to bound out of bed and go do all of the things that I've done before, like mountaintop climbing and doing radio work and that sort of stuff. It wasn't that simple, because taking that big toe shifted the pressure on the foot, and the foot is a sensitive piece of equipment. So I then realised that, this is really important stuff. So we went down the path of getting some orthotics done, but as it's been referred to me in the now and certainly will be in the future, it's not an exact science. That's what I kept on getting told.
I think that the ulcer played its own role, and it was, you didn't have a lot of control over where it was going to take you. And minor things sometimes could affect it, and sometimes some of the things that you would apply or do might affect it in a good way. So it was a very fine line as to how to treat an ulcer. The wound clinic has a lot of knowledge, but at the same time they're for each person, I think there's a different reaction, or for each solution that they might have, there's a different reaction to it, and they're trying to find the best one for you. So they'll probably keep you on one thing over the 4 to 6 week period before they see you again. And yeah, I tried quite a few different methods, and some of their solutions were very good as far as if it got inflamed, and then you might need some antibacterial help of some kind, or medical intervention. I think I've been on one course of antibiotics in the period of time, just to simply stop the infection, because it does tend to occasionally get in there.
The first set of orthotics that I got didn't work, and I ended up with a pressure sore on the bottom of the foot, which was quite large. So it was about 3 or 4 inches, and it wouldn't heal. The pressure on the bottom of the foot was solved by having surgery to try and correct some curving over of the second toe, because once that big toe's gone, the other toes are taking the pressure. So corrective surgery was required to try and actually straighten that toe out. And by doing that, the surgeon actually found a lot of debris and other bits and pieces in the bottom of the foot that were causing the extra pressure. So once he did that, he actually cleaned that out. I've never had a problem again on the bottom of the toe, but then I had some pressure problems on toe 2. So we're still in the process of getting things right 5 years down the track.